Okay, 4 years ago, I got a phone call from that gentleman. He says, hey, friend Dick and I is doing a podcast. I'd like to come and talk about business issues. I said, great.
Podcast or black belt test?
It was a podcast.
Okay.
A podcast. And I said, what the hell am I going to talk about? I had no problem talking. I just don't know what I'm talking about. And so we did a couple, and I gave a couple of dumb things, and oh, cutie, what a cute guy. And I got bored. And I said, you know what? I just something I want to do. So I said, tell you what, Peter. Every week we're doing it a weekly. I want to talk about somebody in business who did something interesting. He said, really? You can do that every week? I said, yeah. I said, I can do it easily. Well, it's not easy. It's a pain in the neck. And I started doing it, and two things happened. Number one, I learned a lot. And number two, I got addicted to it. I got addicted to learning about people. And I changed it. I said, tell you what, I don't want to talk about the Steve Jobs and the Elon Musk and the Bill Gates. I says, I want to talk about ordinary people. How do I define ordinary? People that you would see standing in a line next to you at Starbucks, wherever you live. People who go to your church. People who sit in a restaurant table next to you at your local restaurant. Regular folks. And I started finding them, and then I went from addiction to obsession, and I became obsessed with it. And I've been doing it now for 4 straight years, and I do it 7 days a week, and I love it. I can't get enough of it. And as I was doing it, I got a question. I says, how the hell are these ordinary people able to make millions of dollars when thousands and thousands of other people who are just as smart, in fact, some of them have college degrees, some of them are PhDs, some of them are authors, TV people. And these people fail. So then I became obsessed with that. And I came up with a program called Why They Make Millions and You Don't. And I've done 95 different people with Peter on the podcast. And I want to share 2 things with you this morning, or this afternoon. Number one, I want to share with you a story of one of my 95 people, one I picked up. And I want to close with being a former systems analyst, not an engineer. I'm not as that bright, and also as Billy Orr. I said, what do they have in common? I'm always looking for a system, a way that says, what did they do that other people don't do? And I found 5 things. And I'll share with you what I call the circle of prominence. If you want to be a star in your industry, you want to be an up-and-comer in your career, you want to start a business, you want to grow a business, you want to add members, there's 5 things that the 95 people did or do that the thousands of other people don't do. So let me start by telling you a story. Now, I'm going to tell you a story about a gentleman named Eben Pagan.
Who is Eben Pagan?
Hey, that's fine. Okay, Eben Pagan was born in 1971, so today he's 47 years old. Matter of fact, I got an email from him a couple of days ago. I'm on his list. He doesn't know who the hell I am. I'm just on his list. Eben Pagan was born in Oregon to a lower middle class family. No one in his family had any money. And no one in his family knew people who had money. So Eben just didn't have, he was just a kid in Oregon. And in his teen years, let me describe Eben. Eben was a cocky little kid. Eben, at 16, where's the age time, yeah? Eben at 16, thought he knew it all. No one told him he didn't. Maybe he was brighter than his parents, I don't know. And Eben said, hell, life is pretty damn good here up in Oregon. Well, what happens when you know it all, and you go to high school is a waste of time. So at 16, Eben Pagan quit high school. Okay. What are you going to do, Eben? I found my calling. I was put on this world to play guitar. I'm going to be a rock star. Well, at 16, everybody wants to be a rock star. So Aben does this, but his father says, Aben, don't quit school altogether. Why don't you take some classes at a community college? So Aben says, okay, Daddy, got peace in the family. Went to class community college. But at 18, Aben quit even those classes. Why? Because Aben joined a rock band. He finally found his calling. He became a member of a traveling heavy metal rock band. They weren't Nirvana, they weren't Metallica, they were people, kids nobody ever heard of. And Aben did that, and he did that for 4 years. At 18, it started at 18. And 4 years later, Aben says, well, this didn't work out. Why? Because at 22, traveling, living his life calling, Aben was making $75 a week. So Aben is now 22 years old, and he says, well, this isn't working. What am I going to do now? And now Aben's in his 20s. Well, Aben's a very bright kid, as you know, he's like the smartest kid in the world. So Aben had saved a few bucks. And Aben says, well, it's time for me to go out on my own. So Aben had saved $1,500. How he did it at $75 a week, I have no idea. Maybe it was birthday money. And he took one of his prized guitars and he sold it and he bought his own place. Well, it was the kind of place he bought. He bought a trailer. He bought a trailer, cheap little trailer, and he moved it to a trailer park. Well, Aben's living a good life. Again, he's a cocky kid. Well, I guess he missed that class in high school. Because what happens when you move a trailer to a trailer park in 30 days? Rent. Hey, Aben, what? Where's your rent for the month? What do you mean rent? $135. But Aben didn't have $135 for his name. So Aben had to sell his guitar amp to pay his rent. Aben says, okay, what am I going to do now? Well, Aben decides he's going to get a job. Okay. So Aben looks around and says, who's making a lot of money? Now this is 22, this is 1993. Aben says, oh, I know who's making a lot of money. People in the real estate market. So he becomes a real estate agent, then he sells mortgages, and he's going around and goes along, and he does this for 9 years. He's now 31 years old. And Aben is surviving. You know how he's surviving? At 31 years old, he has $30,000 in credit card debt. Then Aben did something that he should have done when he was 16. He says, maybe I don't know all the answers. So Aben did something that everybody telling him to do, and says, Aben, why don't you listen to what other people are doing? Why don't you listen to what other people are doing? So Aben was talking to his buddies. He's now living in LA, as a matter of fact, the LA area. And he's talking about his plight and so forth, and his friend said, hey, you know that guy we all know, whatever his name is, Johnny or Joe, whatever his name is. This is now 31 is now 2002. He says, this kid, he wrote a book. It's called a PDF or an e-book. And he's selling it on the internet. Aben says, really? He says, yeah. Well, Aben says, well, I'm making close to $10 an hour with my skill set. The guy says, oh, he's making more than that. So in his 30s, Aben says, son of a gun, I'll write a book. Why not? Well, there's one thing, when you write a book, you're going to have a topic. Well, Aben says, what the hell do I know that Aben would be interested in? I didn't graduate from high school. I didn't take any of those college courses I told my dad I was going to take. Failed as a rock star. I did okay in real estate and mortgage, and I was $30,000 in net. He says, what do I know? I'm now 32 years old. What the heck do I know that I can make money at? And he thought, and he thought, and he thought. And he says, I'm only good at one thing. Single, living in a trailer park, how to hit on women at bars. He says, I'm going to write a book about dating.
I didn't get that memo.
Well, there's
I
one
didn't get
thing
that
wrong.
memo.
This is 2002.
I missed my call.
Me too.
This is 2002. If you go to Barnes & Noble in 2002, there were rows and rows of books about dating. From experts.
Real experts.
Yeah. People who were authors. They had the books, right? People had degrees. Well, Abel looked at that and says, well, I think I'm an expert and no one else knows it. He says, I'm not an author yet, but I will be, and I don't have a degree. He says, how am I going to compete with this? And this is the first time we see a little bit of genius on Abel Pagan. A genius that you're going to see in my circle in the second emotion. Abel says, he looked at all the books, he listened to all the experts on TV and so forth. Here you go, Frank.
Front seat.
He looked at all
Teach him
the
about dating.
He farts a lot too, so watch out.
He looks about this and he says, you know what? They're all saying the same thing. So here's Abel's genius. He says, I'm going to do just the opposite. I'm going to write a book about dating, but I'm going to contradict what these other guys are saying. And here's the three things that Abel, by the way, the book is still available on Amazon today. It's called Double Your Dating.
Double your what?
Double Your Dating.
Double your
Is the name
what?
of the book.
I
Name of
like
the
it.
book. Here's the three things Abel put in his book that nobody else was talking about. He says, number one, he says, women are attracted to cocky, confident guys.
Oh, shut up. Really?
Number two, women are attracted to guys who are unpredictable. And number three, if you play it right, women are attracted to a guy's inner wuss, he called it. He says, all guys have it, they don't show it, they're all wuss. So he wrote his book, and he talked about those three things, which there was nothing like that in the marketplace. Well,
What was the third one? A what?
inner wuss, W-U-S-S.
That's a was it.
Inner wuss.
Thank you.
Inner,
Oh, an inner wuss.
Okay, inner wuss.
Thank you.
inner
Okay,
feminine
so,
guy.
let's get back to this. So, well, as Abel found out, again, he didn't go to school, writing a book is only half the battle. He didn't have a website. So it took him 2 months to learn how to do a website. And he built his own website, and he sold his book.
Larry, say you want to get the door, please?
For $29.95. And you know what? He was selling 1 to 2 books a day.
All right, Frank, keep going.
Okay, so Abel wrote his book, put it on the website, and he was selling it for $29.95. You kidding me?
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of damn money. He was selling 1 to 2 books a day. And now Abel's true genius comes out. Abel says, I'm not making enough money selling my book. So he raised the price of the book to $39.95. $39.95. And he was making 10 sales a day at that price. The same book. People said, wow, this must be really good because it costs more than the other books. Perceived value. How much do you think your book is worth? Whatever you think it is that they're willing to pay. If you sell a book for $5, it's a $5 book. If you sell a book for $40, you think it's and he was making $400 a day. He was in heaven. Most people would have stopped. But Abel today makes millions because he did these next 2 things. Okay. Abel says, I have found this is really cool. He says, I got this book. Oh, by the way, to show you how unconfident he was, when he wrote his book, he wouldn't put his name on it because he said, if it feels I want people to know that I'm a failure. So he called it his name, let's say, David D'Angelo. That's the same name on the book today on Amazon. So Abel says, well, if people like what I wrote in the book, he put together live seminars and started charging people to fly to LA to attend his dating seminars. He videotaped his seminars and sold the videotapes on his website. His first year doing this, Eben Pagan made $150,000. Not bad for a kid who was $30,000 in debt a few years ago. His second year doing this, Eben Pagan made $500,000. And his third year, $1.2 million. Eben Pagan makes millions when most people don't. So I looked at that. And this is one of the 95 people that I talk about on Peter's show.
Our show.
On our show, thank you. He's very generous. And I says, what are the lessons we can learn from Eben and from the 94 other people I talk about? And I found a trend. Now, this is the second thing I want to share with you guys. I call it the circle of stardom, the circle of promise. If you want to start a business, this will help you increase the odds of being successful. If you want to grow your business, this is one of the things to do. Let me show you the circle I call it circle of prominence. These 95 people, there's these 5 things in this order. These 5 things. The first thing they did, they discovered problems. People will give you money for a book, for membership in your club, for buying your product, for hiring you as a coach, or as a sensei, or as a consultant. They will give you money for one major reason, and probably that's the only reason. Okay? Because you have a solution to a problem they have and they do not want. If you can solve a problem that I have that I don't want, how much? How much can I pay you? Okay. Find the problem. Step number 2, here's what these 95 people did. Imagine a solution. Okay, imagine. What if? Why not? When you're imagining, there are no rules. 0 rules. There are no rules. This is the most fun in the world. You can imagine anything. There are no rules, but there are 3 guardrails that you cannot cross. Okay? 3 guardrails. The 3 guardrails are: 1, you must remain legal. Guardrail number 2, it must be ethical. And guardrail number 3, you must be moral. If you're illegal, unethical, or immoral, you're out. Okay? That's number 2. I'm going to skip number 3 because number 3 is the kicker, the kick in the ass. Number 4 is, once you've got your solution, you package it. Packaging, marketing. Here's a mistake most people make. When they offer us a solution, hey, I come up with this good idea. Let me tell you how great I am. I got a PhD from Harvard. I worked for McDonnell Douglas. I know Steve Jobs obviously before he died. And I got degrees and I made lots of money. Me. When you package it, it's all about them, not you. The package should be, how great are you going to be after you hire me? How great are you going to be after you join my club? How great are you going to be after I become your coach? So it's about them, not you.
Stupid.
And the fifth thing is, when you share your solution with the world, say, oh, by the way, I got this thing, you may be interested in that. Yeah.
Charge.
I call it proclaim. Hey, you know what? For the last year, your problem is now solved. That's 4 of the 5. I'll get to the 5th one, this one here, in a minute. How many, and again, I've been doing this a lot. When people think of a business, they think of 1 of 3 things. How can I be better than my competition? How can I be faster than my competition? How can I be cheaper than my competition? What's the one common word in those 3 things?
But not different.
Bingo, competition. The minute you say I'm better than Larry, I'm cheaper than Kerry, I'm faster than Peter, I am now. I'm faster than Peter, I'm comparing myself to my competition. Why the hell would I do that? Hey, I'm the only guy here that's got a problem, solution to this problem. Proclaim, make it, it's an event. Be proud. Be proud. How many times have you heard, maybe you guys, or I know I've experienced this, where you come up with an idea for a business, and it's a great idea. Okay, you are better, faster, cheaper, whatever it is. And you tell the world, and nobody even gives a crap. You know what it is? You're ignored. You know why you're ignored? Because you're just one of those. Here's what the 95 people did, and here's what Eben Pagan did that made him stand out. And this is the 3rd one, which is the key. Your solution has to be controversial. What do I mean by controversial? It's 1 of 3 things. It's contrary to what people think. Okay. Remember how everybody was going this way in dating? Eben says, nah, be cocky, be unpredictable, and be a wuss at times. Women will love you. $1.2 million worth of love for Eben. Contrary, or it can be provocative. Not in a sexual way, unless you're selling sex. Provocative says, what the hell did this guy just say? You got their attention. You got their attention. Or it's going to be meaningfully different. I got a new thing for my iPhone. New cover for my iPhone. See, this is blue. Mine is yellow. Yeah, I'm different, but who the hell cares? Who the hell cares? I was like, hey, I got something here. It's whatever it is. I can't think about it. It's going to be meaningfully different. Meaningfully different. You do these 5 things. There's no guarantees that you're going to be successful, but it increases your odds. And this is what these 95 people had in common. Now, when I share this with people, I got to get 2 things across to them. And I'll close with this. One thing happened in 2007, and another thing happened in 1998. I'll start with 2007 first. The biggest problem people have with their business today is this damn thing.
Oh, yeah.
I sleep with and my wife. I sleep with this and my wife. Okay. This I pay attention to. My wife is a pain in the ass at times, but I still love her. Okay. This saps everybody's attention. How are you going to get attention when it beep 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 comes up? So, oh, I got Instagram. Oh, right? You've got to get attention. It's tougher today to get attention than ever before. Now here this comes in. And here's the problem I have when I work with people. Maybe you can relate to this. In 1998, changed everything when it comes to working with people. In 1998 was introduced the little blue pill called Viagra. That tells exactly to do with business. People have been accustomed to saying, okay, Frank, I love what you're saying. I want to work with you. What's the shortcuts? They're looking for a little blue pill. There is no blue pill when you do this. the 95 people had no blue pills that I talk about. It's a lot of hard work. And there's work and success and there's failure and there's work, but it's worth it if you want it, if you're willing to work. In fact, I'll share the third thing with you. I put it down to three things. In fact, I'll thing here. I said it starts with a mindset. Then it's followed by a process. And it ends with what's called status. A mindset is something that you adopt. A process is something that you learn. And a status is something that you earn. If you want to be a success in business, adopt a successful mindset, learn the process, and people will understand you've earned a status with them as a leader. If you want to be a sensei, a master sensei, a thought leader, isn't there a mindset, a process, and a status? You get the mindset of a sensei, you learn the Peter teach you all this stuff about the process, and people give you that status. You don't buy that status. You don't say, hey, I'm a master. No, you're not. Let me tell you, I just talked to you today. Everybody wants to be a leader. Because leaders are leaders. A leader only needs one thing to be a leader. It's not a degree, it's not $1 million, and it's not a babe. Okay? A leader needs only one thing. It's called followers. And followers decide to follow you or ignore you. You earn the status of being a leader when people say, hey, Mateo, I want to follow Matty or Olaf. Yeah, I'd like to follow Gary or Barney. Yeah, I want to. The minute I say I want to follow you, you're a leader. He's a leader in spades. Okay, we've got a great example here. You want to be. My sister just got a dog. I says, you want your dog to behave well, to be well trained? You got a dog here. Adopt a mindset. Anything you want, wherever you are today to where you want to be in the future. It's three things: adopt a mindset, learn the process, and earn the status. You know, that my sister's dog was doing what I told her to do within the second day. I was there for 7 days. When I left, the dog went back to being a little shit, because that's what the dog is. Because they didn't earn the status of being the alpha dog. Okay? Mindset. Gentlemen, and with that, I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brent.
Frank, I have a question.
Sure.
You emphasized on 3 occasions cheaper.
Yes.
How do you interpret cheaper?
Uh,
Cheaper means inferior.
Cheaper. The first time I employed one of this,
I was wondering if you meant that people should lower their standards and sell a cheaper, inferior product. Is that what you meant?
No. Yeah, that's what people do. They try to acquire customers by lowering the price. The first thing I do when I work with somebody is I raise their price. Whoa, what the hell are you
So you're
doing?
really contradicting.
I raise the price. Why are you raising the price? Because you're worth more. Well, what I'm doing isn't worth as much I'm charging. Well, then you're a thief. Increase the value. I work for a dating therapist in the Rose Bowl up here in Pasadena. And first thing I did when I went to work with him, I doubled his price. Oh, you scared? Because we're going to add more value. And by the way, the minute somebody says I got a discount, I said, oh crap, that company's in trouble. When you offer discounts, it's a sign that you need the money.
Frank,
I hate discounts.
that's the good news. The bad news is it's $100 to get out my door now.
Yeah, dang it.
You're worth it.
There you go.
Exactly.
All right. Any other questions? Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Very
Thank you,
well
Brent.
done.
Stuff.
What time is it?